Hey guys, it's your best fight friends. I'm Kelsey. That's Rachel. Rachel, we're here to talk about Canelo Alvarez.
The world of boxing. Big fight coming up this weekend, but I would like to backtrack just a little bit. And last weekend, we saw Katie Taylor fight. And I just wanted to say that I thought she did an excellent job. I thought she came in. She looked like her strength and conditioning was really good. So it's just always fun to see Katie Taylor fight. And that was a somewhat of a competitive
That was a good
fight.
Natasha Jonas, I think is her name.
And the judges actually gave rounds. I mean, on the cards, it was kind of close, where there was a chance. I mean, just one round off, and it would have been a draw or, her.
It was a good fight. They're both really good fighters, and I love to see Katie Taylor in action.
Yeah. So, now, we'll look forward to next week. We get to see Canelo Alvarez in action.
Maybe against BJ Saunders. Say maybe, because today, I guess, controversy erupted over the size of the ring. I guess was contractually supposed to be one size. And it's not, so Billy Joe Saunders didn't show up to some stuff today he was supposed to be at. They're flying in a UK fighter named John Ryder to be like the backup fighter in case Saunders doesn't show up. So who knows? The show will go on there. It's here in Texas. I think it's at the Cowboys Stadium, whatever it's called today. AT&T Stadium, I think, in Dallas. Or it's not technically in Dallas. Anyway, listen, Canelo's going to fight somebody. It'll be on DAZN if you live in the United States. Needless details. But here's not a needless detail, Rachel. Canelo Alvarez is the pound-for-pound biggest star in the sport. And I don't know, do you think if Canelo beats Saunders, do you think he'll be able to lure Jake Paul into the ring? Did that hurt? If you're a tried-and-true boxer, did that hurt you?
I do hope things get worked out and I get to see Canelo versus BJ Saunders in the ring. I know that Canelo is the favorite going into this. But I would also like to say that the fun in boxing is that there's always a chance for an upset. I mean, and this isn't just in boxing, this is in the world of combat sports. So if we look back to PFL 1, their start of their 2021 season, we saw 3 upsets across that card. And so that there's always, and if you watch that, you might have watched it because Clay Collard was one of those upsets. He upset Anthony Pettis, who was the big signing, for that thing. And here Clay Collard comes in and is just like, nope, I'm going to win this. And so, and I say you might know that Clay Collard had a stunning year in 2020 in the world of boxing because PFL took a break during the pandemic. And he came away from that 5-1 or 4-1. I can't remember which
5-1 in 2020, and then he lost to fighting boxing at the beginning of this year.
Okay. Yeah, so there's always a chance for that. And so I really like that's what I want to see from somebody like BJ Saunders. I want to see him come in and really be like, you know what? I'm going to win this. I want to see him do his absolute best. On the other side, I'm always I'm a fan of Canelo Alvarez. I like seeing him fight. I think that he's really good, and it's hard for me, and I know other people can, and they might even comment on this video, it's hard for me to find across Canelo's career where he hasn't done his best. People poke holes in Floyd Mayweather. Be like, oh, well, he pick and chose his opponents, and at the end, he didn't fight Manny when they were in their prime, and they have, and there's some truth in some of that, you can kind of be like, well, I can kind of see this.
You can, there's some truth in that you can point out things that everybody, you could do that. Canelo, Floyd beat Canelo pretty handily, right?
Yeah, way early on in his career.
Yeah, but
All
when
I'm
you say
saying
stuff
is that according to Rachel, in my opinion, I have a hard time poking holes in across Canelo's career.
Well, let me do it for you, Rachel. First of all, Mayweather easily and clearly beat him in that fight.
Yeah.
And Canelo was undefeated heading into that fight, but Canelo probably, or at least maybe, shouldn't have been undefeated in that fight. I don't remember the kid's name, but he was in a really, really close fight against a really good fighter who maybe he never was in this fight. What? This here says Canelo's the greatest fighter that's ever lived. I can't find him, Rachel.
Well, I'm just saying that we've had some people comment on past videos and say that, Canelo has cherry picked. He went up and fought Kovalev, who was washed up, and I don't agree with that. Like, I see Canelo having just continuously kept fighting throughout his whole career, picking challenges for himself, and so I'm just always happy to see him in the ring. So I'm looking forward to seeing him Saturday night.
Canelo's the greatest fighter that's ever lived. No, I think you can poke holes in anybody. Some people think Arizona Lara beat Canelo Alvarez. I think Canelo Alvarez is easily and should be ranked pound for pound number 1 in the world. And I think that hopefully if he can get past BJ Saunders, who's a tricky out for anybody, but I think Canelo definitely, after seeing him beat Callum Smith the way he did in his last fight, I'm not picking anything but a romp by Canelo Alvarez. I really, really hope he can fight number 1 boxing superstar Jake Paul in a boxing ring. That is ideal.
Why you gotta ruffle everybody's feathers like that?
Hey, you're ruffling them with your stuff about Floyd. I'm gonna ruffle them with Jake Paul.
I was just using it.
Listen, maybe I should just call you Rachel Ruffalo.
I was just using that as an example, as what people do, and then to show that I just
you
don't
do
agree
that with anybody.
with Canelo.
Only with Canelo.
Like, I just don't think that he's. Well, I mean, you can't argue. I mean, in my opinion, Floyd Mayweather clearly didn't fight Manny Pacquiao in their prime. Like, they didn't fight each other in their primes. Like, that's just truth.
Are you blaming Floyd for that? I mean, I know that didn't
No,
happen,
I'm just saying that
the way you
is one
of
the things that happened.
Yeah,
like,
for
it's
sure.
a fact.
Neither one, but the same thing goes for Manny Pacquiao. He never. Right? They didn't fight each other when they were both at their best.
Yeah.
But when they did fight, Mayweather won the fight. And I'm not like a big Mayweather fan, but that's...
Yeah,
I'm not against Mayweather either. I'm completely unbiased. I'm the only unbiased human being in the whole world.
Hey, we're looking forward to the fight on Saturday night. Very excited for it.
It just doesn't feel like a big fight weekend, though, without Jake Paul.
Okay.
And,
without
hours of music videos on your screen and, all this nonsense.
I'm sorry, guys. We hope that you tune in again, and we'll see you next time.